To me, metal is life.
Yeah, heavy metal is just something that you either get it or you don't. And if you get it, you're obsessed with it, and I'm definitely obsessed with it.
I think it comes down to heavy metal kind of being a drug.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
I was 10, and the first album that really grabbed me was Van Halen 1.
Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast.
Joe Satriani, Surfing with the Alien.
I remember we were in our room. I shared a room with my 2 brothers, 3 brothers in one room.
I was with my dad.
My uncle was blasting it.
First time I heard it, I was like, what the hell is that? It didn't even sound like a guitar. It sounded like something from outer space.
And as soon as I heard that album, from the first to the last song, I was instantly hooked, and it basically just took off from there.
Really stuck with me, and I became obsessed with that album and played it about 1,000 times.
It was a sick obsession.
I probably own about 5,000 heavy metal albums, all up. I don't want to listen to Spotify, it's not the same. I'd rather sit there with my Iron Maiden album cover and look at that artwork like I did the first time I saw it and go, holy fuck, what is this? And just get taken to another world. And to read the lyrics, that's how we used to get into other bands, is who do they thank in the thanks list? What t-shirts are they wearing in the photos? Oh, who's that band? I'm gonna go check them out. And that's really the world that I miss, but it's a world that I still try to live in. That's why I still shy away from listening to Spotify and all this modern wave. It's just not the same, you just don't get the feeling and the vibe.
Yeah, nothing can replace it really. It's just amazing in every way. Basically, I was in my first band by the time I was 11. They were the guys that introduced me to bands like Metallica, Pantera.
The first band I was ever in was called Carnage, with a K. We couldn't play, it sounded horrible, but we loved it. We thought we were going to be superstars. Thrash metal was really the big underground, extreme metal sound, and then we played about 10 shows. We actually ended up supporting Carcass, which was like our idols. We were about 19, I think that was our last show, was supporting Carcass. We started the band 10 years ago, and yeah, Bullet Belt's got some history. Some bad shit has happened, which I felt really bad about. I thought about changing the name. I came up with that name when I was about 15, and I sat on it for 25 years before it became a band. Yeah, Bullet Belt's had a lot of lineup changes.
So since 9 Centuries, we also got Josh into the band as another guitarist.
I already knew the guys before I joined. As soon as I joined the group, they said to me that we're going into the studio in 10 days and we need 2 songs. It hasn't really stopped. So I haven't really had a chance to sit back and reflect on my time in Bullet Belt, because we've obviously had new members join since I joined.
We recorded Faster Than Death and Voyager with Scott on vocals.
When I joined the band, we didn't have a singer. And before I knew it, we had Scott on the phone, and he had agreed to be the singer for Bullet Belt. There was no audition process. He got the job based on mutual friendship and his credibility as a musician.
And it is hard work. It takes a lot of sacrifice and dedication to do these things. We toured Japan last year.
Of course, Japan, that was just unreal. Japan was just a life changer pretty much.
was expecting another baby, so unfortunately he's had to step aside.
Bullet Belt's kind of a being of its own anyway, and we're just a bunch of guys feeding it really, and turning it into what it is. You know, I fully believe in the music not stopping no matter what.
And I have a vision of how I want the band to be and where we're going, and that's not going to change.
Yeah, we like to keep busy, that's for damn sure. We're a band that never stops.
We did Australia, we did New Zealand, we also recorded the Faster Than Death music video. We released a split EP with Sabat. We got to feature on the Dragon Force album Extreme Power Metal. We also toured with Snesanum, and I got to meet my hero Joey Jordison.
No, there is definitely no intentions of slowing down. In fact, right now we are currently recording a 9-track album.
40 million deaths, they order 100,000 men. 40 million deaths, I still go home and Mongolia.
The album is going to be called Warlords. Some of my favourite heavy metal albums, it can just be a cool name. Like, it doesn't have to be fucking deep, so deep and meaningful. So it's a little bit of kind of heavy metal fist to the face as well. You know, Warlords, the title tells you what this album is going to be. The most important thing that I find when working with someone, whether it's a bandmate, a producer, a filmmaker, whatever, is the personal relationship that we have. And most importantly, we have to enjoy working with them. And that's really the big thing that draws us back to James. We know he's a kick-ass sound guy.
The first time I recorded with Bullet Belt was the string section for 9 Centuries.
When I first met James, that was when we were recording the Faster Than Death EP.
Faster Than Death and the Voyager for a 7-inch.
He has a really amazing ear, but it's not a super polished modern sound, which is not what we want. We want it to be a little bit more live and a little bit more raw and real.
When it comes to metal, I don't really record metal. I record guitar music the way I want to listen to guitar music. Amp simulators and triggered drums. It's not what I want to listen to personally, so I always just try to make a record that I want to hear. You can make some cool, weird stuff in computers and like for guitars, but there's nothing like a roaring guitar amp in a room with a microphone that's like barely holding on for life.
And if you look at the records that James has made, like the Beastwars albums and so on, they're very real music. It's music played. It's not all lined up to a Pro Tools grid and just kind of mapped out. It's actually musicians playing their instruments.
And that's what I want to hear. That's what I grew up listening to. It all sounds real.
I think we want to go full distorted. I think we want to go a little bit further than Tim or we've done before that we're comfortable with.
Yeah, cool.
And how do you think that's going to sit in the big picture with the guitars on top for what you hear of the guitar sound?
But the rhythm guitars I want to sound like kind of classic, just like vintage guitar tones, big, thick, rich, lots of mid-range. So the more distortion we have in the bass, actually the better it'll cut through.
Cool.
Awesome. One major goal for us for this particular album is we want it to be very, very catchy.
What do I know about Bullet Belt? A lot of vocalists, me being one. Paul is our new singer. I've probably known him for a decade, always known he's a very strong vocalist.
I can remember having a feeling of his voice going through my entire body, and I remember thinking, man, this dude could scream the paint off walls.
fucking fuck.
Oh, that was fucking me off, man. Fuck, that fucked me
Well, it
off.
just gets in your head.
Yeah, it was because trying to scream and then memorise a new pattern while trying to scream. It's usually the other way around. You learn it and then scream. So
When you get to the end of the first half of the verse and you go to a deep,
yeah,
and then you're going to come straight back at rapid fire to the high again, I thought that was fucking awesome.
diaphragm training. Oh, fuck.
I would say
not much room to breathe.
I would say I'm very relieved. First time I've heard you play on a Bullet Belt song, and yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it all, to be honest.
Awesome.
Nice.
Just my vocal technique's completely different. I have the lows, the gutturals, the tunnels. Highs, the fry highs as well. There's a lot of range with my voice. So.
He's absolutely nailing these songs on the album too, which is awesome.
His mouth opens right up. It's so huge, and you literally could stick your fist right in it.
We've still got the signature Bullet Belt sound, but there's a lot of differences, especially with Josh coming in and being a massive part of the writing process.
I've been in the band since 2017, and a lot has happened since then. A major change that has happened for Bullet Belt is that I've become a prominent member of the songwriting.
Remember, on the first chorus it's the same as well.
Oh, the first chorus is all down.
I'm the guy that likes to pull things apart and put them back together to see how it works. That has become an important aspect of Bullet Belt, especially moving into the studio with this new record.
Oh my god. That's a really good idea, but yeah, that's an overdub again.
So we'll do that later, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
He's basically been writing this album with us since day one, so there's going to be a lot of his influences and a lot of his styles in there as well. Basically, when you hear it, you'll hear that there's sort of like a very different dynamic to it.
Yeah, Ross decided his time was up. 10 years. Probably my second longest relationship after my marriage, to be honest. And it was strange. We started the band 10 years ago, and I always thought he'd still be there. I always thought it was his thing too. But he's decided that he's got other things he wants to prioritize in his life, and totally accepted it. And yeah, it was sad, but you know, we stopped for about 5 seconds, and then the band just keeps going.
I still consider Ross a brother to this very day. He's the reason I'm in Bullet Belt. He'll always be a massive part of my life personally. That doesn't change.
He's made up his mind, and if that's what he's decided to do, which he obviously has, then good on him.
Ross is a really good guy and still a great friend of ours, and it's given us a bit of all a kick in the ass to say, hey, we still want to do this, and it's a lot of fun. I love playing music. To me, the greatest part is just feeling like you know, I'm creating something, and it's something that's just come from us, and every band is doing something a little bit different, and that's what I love so much about it, is to think that I'm contributing to art by creating something with a group of people. Although that's a changing group of people, the feeling and the tone of what we do still remains the same. And I have listened to so many heavy metal albums, so it's kind of what I play and what I put into my music is a sum of all those parts that have come in through my ears.
Every single wonderful thing that has happened in my life has been the result of heavy metal. It's a pretty powerful feeling overall. I think for a lot of people it's an escape. You want to go to that different reality, that different world. I think picking up an instrument and just rocking it out, it's just a nice tool to take you to that other place.
Feeling, the feels. Certain songs have certain feelings. You can always tell the feeling of a song, whether it be the acoustics or the trend picking, drumming even, vocal styles. Everyone gets pulled into it some way or another.
I hope when people hear this album, they get grabbed by the choruses immediately, because we're trying to write a big, soaring heavy metal album with really catchy songs and really great hooks. We've written some of these songs with the thought of playing a festival where you need to grab 5,000 people immediately and get them banging their fists to the chorus.
Surely they will. It's a pretty banging album. It's pretty good.
I hope that it excites all of the things that people love about heavy metal, and I hope that it excites all of the things that could be possible with heavy metal.
In the future, with Bullet Belt, I would like this band to still be around in 10 years. I'd like the next frontier is we want to go tour Europe, and I want to get us on some festivals. I want to take our music to a much bigger audience.
Hopefully we can just take this album to many places that it hasn't been before. I see us just getting busier and busier. I don't see us slowing down in any way. It's only just going to accelerate.
My favourite thing of all is heading to new places and meeting new people and hanging out with new bands that I've never met before and making those friends, and those friends become lifetime friends. That's probably my favourite thing about being in a band.